Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. What I was doing this morning was that I was just kind of looking through what I wanted to talk about, and I guess it's kind of funny. This wrapping up 10 bowls. It was just kind of wondering. Well, I've gone through the commentary. What is it that I really wanted to talk about today? So that's really kind of what I spent my time on before joining here. So welcome everybody. I'll get into that. Basically, what happened is in the last session about the 10 bowls, I just kind of very quickly went through the last 5 of the 10 bowls. I'll share right now what those are. They are riding the bull home, the bull transcended, both bull and self transcended, reaching the source, and into the world. And the reason that I went through them very quickly is because I find that they're a little bit more difficult to talk about, a lot less practical. And as I went through interpretations, as I examined various people's interpretation of the 10 bowls, even the first 5 have some different interpretation than what I have for them and what I had when I first saw them. For me, it's almost entirely to do with meditation practice itself. And then when we get to the further bowls, then it's something else, right? It becomes or is it? And I guess that's what I'm here to talk about today. Is it something more than meditation practice, or is it something that is directly applicable to meditation practice? And these paintings were made in the 12th century in China through Chan Buddhism, which eventually was moved to Japan and became Zen Buddhism. And so that understood there's a different thinking and understanding probably as these paintings were created and as the commentary and the poetry around them was created. I think the key lesson as I walk through these, so riding the bull home kind of assumes this kind of mastery. So we've come to a point where focusing on the breath has become easy, or focusing on the present moment, and that getting into a state of objective awareness away from our subjectivity is started to flow, and it's become easier. This is something that can be really challenging to experience. That I think I myself really don't experience this except on retreat, and even then maybe just little glimpses of riding the bull home. Where it becomes effortless, where I think in my own meditation practice, what happens is that I can see, and it usually only happens, in fact these days, it happens exclusively on meditation retreat, where I'm able to see my thoughts before they start forming, and start to see the thought formation process. And I guess that's really what I wanted to get into, and as we walk through each of these. So that's riding the bull home. The next are the bull transcended. So the bull is gone, right? Both bull and self transcended. And I'll just very quickly read through as well the poetry. Mounting the bull slowly I return homeward. The voice of my flute intones through the evening, measuring it with hand beats, the pulsating harmony. I direct endless rhythm. Whoever hears this melody will join me. The bull transcended. Astride the bull I reach home. I am serene. The bull can rest. The dawn has come in blissful repose. Within my thatched dwelling I have abandoned the whip and rope. So it becomes easy. It becomes to the point that we're in our altered state, and I guess that's really where I wanted to go today. In our altered state of mind, we are in that state effortlessly, and I think that this is something that is interesting. That in the meditation practice, as we go deeper into our meditation, we'll find that as the default mode of the brain disengages, as we continue staying focused on the breath and on the body and focusing on physical sensations, that kind of inner commentary starts to subside naturally, and we end up in this kind of altered state of mind. And I think that a lot of explanation goes around this, a lot of mysticism about what is this altered state of mind that we may experience as we go deeper into our meditation practice. And S.N. Goenka in the Vipassana retreat, in the 10-day Vipassana retreat, thinks that this altered state is key for erasing our suffering, erasing the, they're called, he calls them, I suppose they're called in Pali, sankharas. That these sankharas begin to melt in that altered state. I guess that's what's interesting, is I think that this kind of state of mind, where and I think scientists have studied it as well, is that this default mode network starts to ease up, and we feel, when we're going into this mode, a kind of bliss and a kind of unity, a kind of feeling of being whole and being at peace. And I think that all of this ends up, because it's just so different from regular consciousness, that it's difficult not to think that it's something different and something mysterious and something mystic, something out of the ordinary, because it is out of the ordinary. But what it may not be is something mystical or magical. And I think that's really kind of what I want to say here, is today to challenge the belief. After all, I am a secular mindfulness practitioner and a teacher of secular mindfulness, is to go, well, maybe this is simply a natural thing that happens when we focus our attention on the body, and maybe there isn't something magical that's going on here. Does it give access to more objectivity? Does it give access for us to be able to see our own internal biases with greater clarity? Absolutely. That's a fact. This does give a different kind of perspective and allow you to see yourself and to see things in a different way. But is it something spiritual? How are we using the word spiritual? Is it something magical? Is it something that, and when I say magical, meaning does it, is it a miracle? Does it no longer, do the laws of physics no longer apply when we end up reaching this kind of state? And I think, at least for me, the answer for this is no. That this is something natural. This is something that we are able to do. And by the way, meditation isn't the only way to disengage the default mode. That there are other methods that have been done, that have been used throughout the ages in shamanism, various religious practices around the world, as well as maybe more recently, science. There's research with certain substances now that allow people to reach areas of their subconscious that they were not able to reach. And so I think this is it's an interesting area that's ripe for exploration. But I think that meditation is probably the way that you can get into and transcend these states with the most control and the most clarity. I heard Sam Harris once talk about the kind of clarity and the kind of usefulness that you can have. How useful is this meditative clarity? It's versus other ways to find an altered state. And I think that meditation is certainly the one that gives you the most control. It's like laser cutting. versus when, perhaps you're using some substance to get there. This could be more likened to an explosion, a lot less in control, and sometimes some real mental challenges that go there. So, and again, these paintings, these poems were made in the 12th century. And this is really going into, on Thursday, I'm going to talk a little bit about Aldous Huxley and how, what Huxley has discovered and what he's written about. And I really find that this kind of stuff all starts to go together for me. That these that these kinds of discoveries are ones that are natural, and that we'll find as we do our practice. And speaking of practice, let's go ahead and get into our practice today. Today's practice is going to be just what we've been doing, is focused attention, and we'll do just about just a little over 10 minutes of focused attention practice today. So we'll get back a little bit more into commentary if you're enjoying the commentary after we do our practice. So let's get comfortable. If you like, allowing the eyes to close, sitting up straight and tall with the crown of the head towards the ceiling. Shoulders relaxed, face relaxed, jaw relaxed. And again, just like we talked about on Saturday, not trying to relax, just seeing if you can observe. What's the state? Oh, and maybe you find out, oh, my eyebrows were really tense. I hadn't realized how tense my eyebrows were. Let me just see if I can let go of that tension. And as you sit here, noticing that you're breathing, you are alive, and as long as you're alive, you will be exchanging gases with your external environment. Inhaling, expansion. Exhaling, release. Expansion, followed by release and contraction. Can we concentrate our attention as this flow continues? So again, not paying attention, not focusing on the detail, or not focusing on the idea, instead focusing on the detail. What details are you paying attention to? Can you feel the stretching of the skin as you breathe in? Can you feel the difference in the position of the belly? And for me, I always tend to notice about 2 or 3 finger spaces above my navel seems to be the place in my belly that expands the farthest away from my spine. So I tend to, when paying attention to my belly, concentrate my attention there. About 3 finger spaces above the navel, feeling that spot expanding as I breathe in, away from the spine as I breathe in. Contracting, moving back toward the spine as I breathe out. Has your mind wandered to thoughts, or are you still here on the breath? So if you've wandered away, any distraction at all, as best you can, releasing that distraction and coming back, focusing again on that spot where you can feel with your awareness the expansion on the inhale, the contraction on the exhale. Okay, keep it up. Stay focused. We're getting close. Okay, congratulations. You've made it. I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. Okay, well done. Thanks, Anna. Yeah, it happens. This happens a lot, right? From almost falling asleep. This can be part of how it goes. Welcome, Kimberly. Yeah, Frank's he's over there. If he gets close enough, I'll force him to have a glance here. All right, thanks. How'd it go today? What was your practice like? I just wanted to, while I'm waiting for comments to come in, I just wanted to kind of wrap up what I was sharing about before we got into the, there we go, there he goes, before we got into our meditation. So the next session is going to be about Aldous Huxley, and I think what's interesting is as we're exploring that altered state of mind that comes with deep focus and deep concentration that happens in our meditation practice, we may feel that something really, really different and crazy and maybe even out of the realm of the natural experience is going on. And I think what science has kind of taught us over the years is that most of the time when we have a mystical experience, that through time we're able to kind of discover what it's all about. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily true for everything in the world. We do have 5 senses, we don't have 6. There may be things going on in this universe that we don't know and we don't understand about. But if there's a simple explanation for something, why not? Usually the simplest explanation is the most reasonable and the most accurate explanation about what's going on. So as different traditions have found different things, I think what was going on in the 12th century was that Buddhists in China weren't communicating with shamans in South America or shamans in Africa or Christians in Europe, and that all of these different religious traditions were going on, and these different kinds of spirituality were being explored, and in that kind of individual exploration through the years, dogma was formed and barriers were formed between all of these different ways of thinking. And now that we're using science, we're starting to use medicines to change the way the brain works, right? And maybe Buddhism has strict rules about this, and there are strict rules about other things in shamanism, right? I guess my real the real hope here is the same as I mentioned a few weeks ago. The threefold vow of Buddhadasa is that all religions know the heart of their teaching. What is it that is really down at the core of our teachings? And they use that, because there is so much similarity, to break down the barriers between us and then work together, all of us to work together to, one for Buddhadasa saying, cleanse the scourge of materialism through the world. I think this certainly has some applicability, but these days, just the divisiveness throughout the world, the us versus them, to start to dissolve those barriers, as we realize that at the heart of it all, we are the same, and we have so much in common. And I think that's really the key here. And I think the more that we explore, the less we attach ourselves to dogma of the past, whatever kind of dogma it may be, the easier it is that we're able to see each other. And so these kind of altered states of mind, instead of being stuck in a Buddhist dogma, let's say, seeing and going, hey, there's something over here. Maybe it's possible to take this from South American shamanism, to apply it into the teachings that I already know in Buddhism or in Christianity. And I think that's what's really a joy in the way the world works today, and how freely information flows, is that we can really start to, and I think we're on the edge. We're right on the edge of beginning to have a much deeper understanding, because of how easily the information tends to flow these days. So thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. I'm going to go ahead and have a look at the chat now. Barbara shares, comment about the Bull series. Like good poetry and much of the wisdom literature, there are multiple interpretations. Thanks a lot for sharing that. And I feel like, as I walk through it, my interpretation is different from everybody else's, including Zen Flesh, Zen Bones, and all the other. Before I came on this morning, I read yet another interpretation, and just feel like I've got my own way, and that's, I guess that's the fun thing. So not just explore some other people's interpretations, but I also wanted to give you mine as well. Jean shares, I was distracted by various body sensations, and those sensations led me to thoughts about them, and back to the breath, repeat. Thanks, Jean, so much for sharing. And I think that and thanks for sharing, because I've experienced that too. Thoughts create bodily sensations, which create emotions, which create more thoughts, which create more bodily sensations, and the circle goes on. And I think that's one of the interesting things as we practice mindfulness, as we practice paying attention here in this moment, we find that this kind of cycle starts to break down as we just simply focus on the physical sensations. Anna shares, but for the sensations, I'm just going to mention this really quickly. I've been singing from a young age, and because of that, I've had to notice my diaphragm moving, and even when I'm not singing, I feel my stomach rising, and when I'm breathing normally, I'm still a singer and take notice of my diaphragm even when I'm not. Basically, I feel all the areas stretch in and out. Thanks, Anna, so much for sharing. I think that's really, really interesting, and probably makes it easier for you to stay focused. And wow, what a gift to be able to have this awareness already, which can really be very helpful in our meditation process. I hope you'll come back and let us know how your meditation journey's going. Wish I could see Frankie dressing up for 4th of July. Yeah, me too. I don't have a costume for him. But yeah, today is the 4th of July over here. So yeah, happy Independence Day to all of you in America. Anna says, I started singing at 6 in theater, and I'm 16, I've been singing for school. Yeah, well, keep it up, Anna. And I think that really, if you if you're able, if you have that awareness already, it gives you a huge leg up in your mindfulness practice, and it should allow you to be able to stay a lot more focused as you're able to pay attention to those sensations. Great. I hope to see you then. Hope to see you on Thursday. Gene shares, in the 12th century, the Buddhists could know the wisdom of the South American, couldn't know the wisdom of the South American shamans. Exactly. And I think that's what's so interesting, is that we all of these limitations, I think we end up stuck in these old limitations, which are hundreds of years old, because of tradition, because of dogma. And I think now is the time. Now is the time to question everything, to question our beliefs, to dissolve the old dogma, and to see what it is that's here. And this is really a perfect kind of segue into Thursday's practice and Thursday's talk about Aldous Huxley. Huxley really has some interesting ideas about the way the world is and the way the world could be in the future. So, looking forward to sharing that with you. Thanks everybody for coming here today. We will be back. The video recording will be available. If you would like to review any of the 10 bowls, all of those are available on YouTube and Ryan Grimes Mindfulness. So you can check that out. Join Ryan's Daily Mindfulness Circle here on Insight Timer. Gene hosts daily meditations around the same time as this. So you can come back and continue meditating, work on your daily practice, as this really is how you're going to see improvements in yourself and in your practice in general. And as you will go through that practice, you'll start to see the 10 bowls unfolding. This is what we can use the 10 bowls for. It's just as a oh wow, nice, interesting. Here's where I am today. All right, take care, everyone. Until then, let's send our well wishes out to ourselves and to each other. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening right now, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. And may all sentient life throughout the universe, including those who have not yet been born, I wish them all happiness and peace. All right. Take care. Lots of love. See you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.